Friends, on the eve of the visit of Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Honorable Chief Minister of AP Nara Chandrababu Naidu, we are making this appeal on behalf of the legal fraternity of Rayalaseema region to establish AP High Court bench at Kurnool without any further delay. Do justice for Rayalaseema region. We, the advocates of Rayalaseema region, extend warm welcome to Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, Honorable Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu to Kurnool, the gateway of Rayalaseema region. On October, the people of Rayalaseema are delighted to host these two leaders. At the same time, the visit of the heads of the central and state government serves as a reminder of long-standing promise that remains unfulfilled, that is, the establishment of High Court bench at Kurnool in Rayalaseema region. This is a promise made. A resolution was also passed. Even in his earlier stint as Chief Minister, Chandrababu Naidu promised on the floor of the Assembly in 2018 that his government will establish permanent High Court bench at Kurnool, and that promise was made in the wake of our agitation since 2014 for establishment of High Court of AP at Kurnool as per the spirit of Sri Bag Pact 1937 after bifurcation of the state. But that promise went into cold storage as he lost elections in the year 2019. The successor YSRCP government also could not keep up its promise of shifting High Court of AP from Amaravati to Kurnool, and ultimately it was dislodged from the power in 2024 elections. Even in the present coalition, partners of BJP and Janasena openly pledged support for establishment of High Court itself at Kurnool, and BJP went to the extent of passing a Rayalaseema declaration to that effect. But after coming into power in the year 2024, they fell in line with the TDP, which was only willing to concede the High Court bench at Kurnool. The TDP included this promise in their election manifesto. After coming into power in November 2024, the coalition government, on the promise of decentralized governance, especially to balance the development of Rayalaseema region, on 20th November 2024, the Andhra Pradesh cabinet approved the proposal of establishment of High Court bench at Kurnool, and the resolution was cited. On the next day, the Legislative Assembly also passed a resolution unanimously to that effect. The resolution cited Sri Bag Pact of 1937, which stipulated to establish capital in one region and High Court in another region in between Andhra and Rayalaseema regions for balanced development as a safeguard against the regional neglect. Following this, the proposal was forwarded to the Chief Justice of Andhra Pradesh High Court for necessary consultations as required by constitutional norms and provisions of AP Bifurcation Act 2014. The clarification on legal misconceptions. As far as the establishment of High Court bench is concerned, the central government is not a decision maker. It is for the state government, in consultation with the Chief Justice of High Court, to initiate the proposal, process it and establish at the place of its choice. The center's role is only to accord formal approval and notify the constitution of the bench at Kurnool, and after the Chief Justice consents. This position was also reiterated in Parliament many times by the Union Law Minister, who stated unequivocally that establishment of High Court bench is totally the prerogative of the state government, and the center will approve and notify it immediately if it sends proposals in due consultation with the Chief Justice. Therefore, any attempt to cast burden on the center would be misplaced. Then why delay in establishing High Court bench? Seema deserves answer. Despite these assurances and administrative groundwork, the proposal is hanging in the balance at the AP High Court end. In January 2025, the registrars of the High Court sought information from Kurnool District Collector about the infrastructure to host 15 judges, court staff, and supporting facilities, and it is said that the district administration has furnished all required information with feasibility report long back. However, there has been no official communication of consent from the Honorable Chief Justice of AP High Court regarding its consent. The State Law Department is simply keeping mum without pursuing the matter with the High Court. There were news reports that in June 2025, the Minister Nara Lokesh met the Union Home Minister again to reiterate that demand. But until State High Court Chief Justice gives consent, the center cannot notify the bench. The delay in establishing High Court bench becomes even glaring when compared to neighboring Maharashtra, in which already two High Court benches at Nagpur and Vidarbha region and Aurangabad in Marathwada region, apart from principal bench at Mumbai, where the BJP Shinde Sena government swiftly established a third High Court bench at Kolhapur soon after making the promise. But herein at AP, despite NDA coalition government being in power, it is being delayed, for which there is no valid reason, and the same is disappointing. Rayalaseema, a region waiting for too long. The people of Rayalaseema have long felt neglected in terms of infrastructure, investment and institutions. Kurnool, once the capital of Andhra state from 1953 to 56, has been neglected by successive governments. Though most of the chief ministers, including the present incumbent, hailed from Rayalaseema region, and it has been relegated to a backseat in state planning. The establishment of High Court bench is not just a symbolic act of justice, it is a practical step towards accessible legal remedies, regional equity, and administrative decentralization. This is not a political issue, it is a constitutional right, a commitment, and a moral imperative. So it is deeply troubling and distressing that despite political will, legislative action, and administrative initiative, the matter is in limbo without any explanation. So, our appeal, under the circumstances, we the advocates of Rayalaseema region, on behalf of Rayalaseema people, urge the Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, CM Chandrababu Naidu, to act swiftly and decisively and honor his own commitment, executing it without any delay. We also appeal to the Honorable Prime Minister to ensure that his government extends full cooperation to the state government to fulfill this long pending promise. The people of Rayalaseema have waited long enough. The High Court bench at Kurnool must be established now without any delay, not as a gesture of charity, but as a matter of constitutional right and political propriety and integrity. Thank you.